And looking at the past 4 years, we've seen lawsuits exchanged and turnover in leadership, and a lot of changes, particularly at the top of the Seattle Police Department. And so, Mr. Hara, I want to hear from you. Is the Seattle Police Department succeeding today despite all of that? And what changes should be made in the future?
It is succeeding. Number one is, I have 14,000 employees. I had to make the decision to terminate a chief of police. I have now a superstar. He could work for any department in this country, and Chief Sean Barnes, who's a PhD, he's a Marine, he's smart, and he has a great command team.
Who only abides by your fucking orders and has not yet done its job so far, and you can say it's succeeding, but y'all have only hired 83 police officers since the first quarter of 2025. And that's what I'm looking at right now. So from what I've seen is from 2021 to 2024, they lost 510 police officers. I'm just going to keep it like right there.
The fact of the matter is that when I became mayor, we had lost over 300 officers.
And I wasn't wrong. And I'm just watching this. I'm just seeing this.
And the repercussions from my opponent's defund movement cost us a lot of officers, cost us morale. So we've been rebuilding a system. Homicides are down over 40%.
Bullshit.
Shots fired are down.
Bullshit.
Serious crimes are down. Property crimes are down. We are trending in the right direction.
Bullshit. The statistics, y'all saying the statistics, it's always hard to get that word out. It says the stats are fucking down, but guess what? It's not counted for because you don't have enough police officers to count them. That's the problem.
But when you lose 1/5 of your department, we have 5 precincts. That's operating with 4 precincts. We didn't make any excuses. We started recruiting the right kinds of officers. And right now, under our leadership, we're getting 10 applications a day. We're getting
I would like to see that proof.
4,000 a year. This is the go-to place for good police officers. And we created from scratch the care department who are responding to thousands of calls.
So you're saying the stats are down, but you're receiving thousands of calls, right? Make this make sense.
We are a model for what good policing looks like. And because our use of force now is less than 1%, a national best, the Judge Robar terminated the consent decree. So we have a bright future in front of our officers. But yes, my opponent has never hired one employee.
First and foremost, if y'all would never defunded the police in the first place, you wouldn't have this fucking situation. Let's be honest. Let's give it this. Let's keep it a buck. If you wouldn't have defunded the police, you wouldn't have this issue. This Black Lives Movement was fucking dumb. Just completely dumb. And you're part of the stupidity.
My opponent has no background in public safety, except arguing to defund it.
And that's the reason why y'all shouldn't vote for both of these people. But guess what? No matter who you vote for, this city is fucked. It doesn't matter. And guess what? It got to get worse before it can get better. So more than likely, the next mayor will be Republican at that point, because guess what? I'm gonna be the one trying to make these people look bad constantly, because I'm just gonna come with the facts.
If you want to move forward with a great police department, the choice should be clear in this race.
I want to give Ms. Wilson a chance to respond, of course, but I wanted to follow up on the decision to fire the police chief that you mentioned, Adrian Diaz. You also hired him to begin with. Was that a mistake in the first place?
We have to understand, he was the chief when...
Well, see, that's the point, and that's also what I said. It's always the mayor who always has the right to fucking hire or fire a police officer. I don't think that mayor... From what I've heard about what's going on with that last police chief officer, and I'm going to say this right now, it is innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. We always look at something for face value because somebody's being accused of something falsely without the pure evidence.
I was elected. Let's level set. He was the chief, and I worked with him as a colleague when he was on the department.
He was the interim chief, and then you gave him the
The only reason why he probably wouldn't fucking comply to you and whatever's going on because he didn't like to deal with your bullshit.
permanent chief job.
And we did a national search. And of the national search, I was given 3 candidates. He was the best of the national search. And that's the decision that I made, and I own that decision. But the chief, based on investigations that were done, started making decisions that were unacceptable to me. And
Exactly.
that's what a leader does. When you have actual hiring experience, you're not going to get it right all the time. I try to lead with compassion and empathy.
If you really tried to leave with compassion and empathy, you wouldn't have fucking defunded the police. I'm just going to be straight up right there. Dude, do you realize what the fuck you've done? Like, seriously. Businesses are not able to fucking flourish because of your stupidity and your fucking poor decision making. Plus, I saw that advertisement that you try to say about how beautiful Seattle looks, but yeah, you didn't really get into the thick of things and look at the crumbs, did you?
So I made a decision to look for another chief. And look what we have, Chief Sean Barnes and his command staff. So we're moving forward. And that should be a good thing for the city, and we should be proud of that.
Ms. Wilson, I'd like you to respond to what Mr. Harrell said before, but also your assessment of where the police department is at today.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of work yet to do. So if you look at Seattle's crime trends compared to national trends over the mayor's term, we've had excess violent crime. We're also spending more than 2 times per officer than Boston, and that's
I mean, she's not wrong.
not a difference in pay. That's our overall police budget. So there's a question of whether we're spending our money wisely.
That is the correct this aspect right there. Are you spending the money wisely? Ah ha ha ha. That's a no.
And the mayor's assessment of his decision to hire Diaz is not what I've heard, right? Diaz was hired over other qualified internal applicants. And the mayor stood by him for far too long while morale tanked and we lost good career, high-integrity officers. We're not doing community policing, and we're not following best practices on gun violence. That's the result of an audit that came out last year.
That's the problem. Y'all need gun laws, not gun control. You can't control guns and how everything's being done. You need gun laws. And the problem, but that's one of the main issues. You don't understand. You cannot stop people from owning a gun. Matter of fact, you can. It depends on the age criteria, and honestly, if somebody is underage doing that is under, they have to be, like, personally, in my opinion, unless they're doing it for learning purposes only, and I don't even agree with it. I really don't agree with it. Unless they're doing it for learning purposes only with parental supervision. I'm not talking about the stupid shit, so please don't get that shit up in your head. Like, seriously, I'm talking about in the country, a shooting range, because guess what? There are some policies in that situation where, yeah, military does it, boot camp, yeah, a lot of places do that too. So don't get that twisted, but it's parental supervision, and people with criminal background checks should not be holding firearms anyway. So there's a lot of things that really need to be changed. It should be gun laws, not gun control.
And our mayor talked about high standards for our incoming officers. He worked with our council president, Sarah Nelson, to try to lower standards for officer hiring. So we have a long way to go, and that includes bargaining the police contract to make more progress on accountability. He mentioned the consent decree, but we still have a long way to go on police accountability. We have a 2017 accountability ordinance, major parts of which have still not been implemented because they were bargained away in the police contract. So no, we are not making the progress that we need to with our police department.
At least she was honest.
And Ms. Wilson, I wanted to follow up on Mr. Harrell's statement about your support for a budget proposal in 2020 that would have seen cuts to the police department of up to 50%. Can you speak to your support to that? And is that something that you still support? Where is your head today?
Yeah, I think I've been very clear in this campaign that I support a police department that is adequately staffed, that is responsive, and that is accountable to the communities that it served.
Yeah, the problem is, are you going to be DEI type shit? Because this is shit going to be wild as fuck if you decide to do that.
In 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, we had a very contentious public conversation around the country about community safety and policing. I participated in that conversation, and also I have learned a lot since then. And I'm proud of what I've learned. I've been having a lot of conversations about public safety with former officers, with other people in the public safety space. And I'm very confident that we can make progress on these very difficult issues, and we can create a city that is safe for everyone.
So you aren't arguing that that is something you said 5 years ago. You have since learned a lot more, as you said. What changed your mind?
I think, the conversation back then, and honestly, we've made a lot of progress based on that conversation, right? The fact that we're having a conversation now about roles that police are playing that we don't actually need a sworn officer for, everything from crisis response to taking down reports of property crime, right? That conversation was really elevated at that time. And I think part of what that movement got wrong is that we thought, well, because half of calls don't need an armed response, maybe we only need half as many police officers. But the fact is that a police department has to respond to incredibly complicated situations, an active shooter situation, for example, right? We can't just scale down the size of the police department based on the calls that we think can be taken by alternative responders. So that's just one thing that I think was not well understood by that movement at that time.
This is why crime rate and everything is so high. And like I said, they are trying to whip the system so they can get government funding. That is the problem. They saying that it's helping, but it's not helping at all. Crime rate, the increase of crime rate, whether you like it or not, is the first step in order to making a city and society flourish. Because if you have a high crime rate, you're going to have a lot less business. You're going to have a lot of issues going on, and it's going to trickle down to a third world country. So, which Seattle kind of looks like in a sense, which I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand what the fuck is going. It's just really weird that people don't understand this. Yet instead, you want to fucking focus on defunding the police. That doesn't do anything. Makes no sense.
Mr. Harrell, go ahead.
Sure. My opponent talked about we had discussions after George Floyd was murdered.
I am so tired of hearing about George Floyd.
We attended hundreds of discussions. We marched on the streets. I did not see my opponent.
You marched on the streets, really? Let me tell you something about this George Floyd. I'm so sick and tired of hearing it. I don't care about it. I need those to say he shouldn't have got his knee to the neck and everything. But the fact that had nothing to do with Seattle, that's one main issue. The fact that y'all even did that in Seattle was one of the main issues. This happened in Minnesota. I don't understand y'all protests. I really do not understand y'all protests. Y'all protest for shit for people who don't give a damn about y'all. Like, seriously, I do not understand that. Then at the same time, instead of like combating the protests, which yes, free speech does exist. I understand that peaceful protest is another thing, but you have to also have to understand that chaos can loom in that same situation, and I don't understand why that even needed to happen in the first place. Because all you did was to bring the start of destruction. And from what I know throughout history, when people protest like that, it destroys cities. It destroys towns. Protesting like that, it does a lot more harm than good.
Any of those discussions, because had she been at the real discussions, we would have said, as in the black and brown community.
And that's another problem. What happened to character? Why the fuck black and brown communities are more important than character? They're going to use all these tropes to try to get your vote. And this is how people fuck up. This is how you vote wrong. This is how you vote poorly. This is how you make these mistakes. And this is how everything just ends in chaos.
Our community would suffer the most if we defund. My opponent, in all due respect, doesn't know anything about public safety. She's holding up Boston as a model. The fact is Boston is smaller than Seattle.
It doesn't matter. Just like Chicago is freaking what? Almost what? Small, what? Bigger than y'all? I'm saying, like, seriously, what happens in each and every other city is led by Democrats. What everybody in the Democratic Party do is completely almost the same, but in different freaking ways. I got a video on this one, but dude, it don't matter. Like, high taxes, Boston has high taxes. I mean, Baltimore has high taxes. Chicago has high taxes. Seattle has high taxes. All these blue cities have high taxes. So what you think you're doing is different from other? No, it's no different.
They have over 2,000 officers at Boston. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. I talk about a 1.9 to 1,000 ratio. My opponent will never commit to what adequate staffing means, as opposed to what? Inadequate staffing? So I'm glad my opponent has become enlightened, but someone should have said, wait a minute, our community will suffer the most without police officers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Let's talk about crime. While overall crime and 911 calls are down on 3rd Avenue and the Little Saigon neighborhood of Chinatown International District.
I'm sorry, but the Little Chinatown, the International District is, it looks bad. It looks so bad. I wish, if it was me personally, I wish I would freaking change. Like, I would come out of pocket just to make a change and make the Little Chinatown District look better, because it looks like it looks fucking awful. As far as the policing has a lot to do with this as well, and I wish it would be a whole different change. It would be a whole different remodel, because one thing, the first things first is I'm gonna have to it would be focused on policing. Policing is one of the main things we would have to focus on, and vetting for the right police officers would be the core values, because not all police officers are bad, because we do have our rhinos, we do have the crooked ones in the police force, but you gotta look at that huge, like, situation. I like, and me personally, I like the Little Chinatown District. I like the International District because they have so much good Asian food there. I find it so fucking good. Like, but it's just, it looks terrible. Like, whether you like it or not, with the homeless situation, it looks terrible.
Those areas continue to have significant public safety issues like open-air drug use and violence. Many people who live and work in that neighborhood in those areas say not enough is being done. So what do you think has not worked in the city's approach, and what new strategies would you pursue to make these areas safer and restore public confidence? Ms. Wilson, I'll start with you.
Yeah, and I've been doing community walks in a lot of neighborhoods around the city, including downtown with the Downtown Community Council, on Capitol Hill with business owners and property owners, and in the Chinatown International District. And it's true that we still have some real hot spots where there's drug activity, where there's other illicit activity. And one of the things that I've heard, both from folks who live in the neighborhood and also from people who are on the street outreach teams, right? Because we do have a number of nonprofits that do outreach to people, trying to get them, services, and often the police are kind of MIA. And it's weird to be the one in this race saying this, but I really think that we need a more consistent police presence around some of these hotspots that can prevent them from forming in the first place. Because once you have 30 or 40 people on the sidewalk, doing whatever they're doing, non-police outreach teams can't really do very much.
Keyword, nonprofits. I forgot, I should have paused it beforehand, but there's a key word into that, nonprofits, and that's something I'm speculating about because I'm not too fond of that word.
And so there's really, I feel like sometimes we take this all or nothing approach to policing, where it's either officers sitting in their patrol cars or we're arresting everyone and throwing them in jail, which we know that also doesn't work.
Because the police officers are not getting paid enough. This is why. Because you decided if you defund the police, what you expect. What did you expect? And it should not just be the International District, Little Chinatown. It should not be just Little Saigon. It should be every place in the city of Seattle. It should be every fucking place in Seattle that needs policing. You can't just think about the two places and not think about every other place as well. This is important. These are people's lives. This is people's jobs. These are businesses that have to be in a better position. And it's crazy just to think about. And honestly, from firsthand, me personally, actually walking the damn streets, seeing what's going on.
So there needs to be more of this consistent on-the-ground presence where police are working with non-police responders.
Nope. Sorry. Nope. No chance in hell. More police.
With stakeholders in the neighborhood, business owners, to take more of a problem-solving approach when there are problems in a particular neighborhood. So I think we can do a lot better using the police force that we have and the resources we have to address these problems more effectively. And also, this also is related to our response to the homelessness crisis, and we need to do better there too.
Let me tell you something about this homeless crisis. They need more rehab. They need more rehab for these people. They need to get their asses in some rehab. They need to get their ass a fucking job. They need to do something because this is loitering. This is loitering. People should not be out here on the streets like this. They need to get some rehab. We'll force them to some rehab. Or, better yet, I got one good idea. They need to get the fuck out of Washington. Because they're not doing anything better to make this city fucking flourish. Like, seriously. That's my fucking idea. They need to get a fucking job, get some rehab, or get the fuck out.
Thank you, Mr. Harold. Your answer to that question?
Sure. Well, I don't have to walk those areas. I'm from those areas, 3 generations from that area, 12th and Jackson as an example.
Don't give a fuck.
You saw that we arrested 14 of the most prolific drug dealers there, and we seized $3 million worth of drugs, which is enough to kill Seattle twice.
Yay, we give you a round of applause for that. What the fuck else have you been doing?
You see a very aggressive approach when we have to make arrests, but you also see a compassionate approach. People are killing themselves with fentanyl, which you could get for less than 50 cents. That is a health issue. And so if you look at under our administration, we tripled.
That is a policing issue. That's not a health issue. This could have been stopped if you wouldn't have allowed illegal immigrants in this fucking city, in this state. Y'all made this a sanctuary city, you forgot?
Tripled our investments in health strategies. We reduced fentanyl deaths by over 30% or so.
I don't believe it.
So we will continue to double down on what we're doing, but the problem is we don't have anywhere to take them to get help. And we looked at the ecosystem. What we've developed is, you see the county passed a crisis care center. That's a good thing. We invested in the STAR Center and the Orca Center. So we're now investing in a place where we could take them to get treatment.
Boy, I'm telling you, you think that's really gonna help? You know, you can, yes, saving one person is fine, but I don't understand. I have to look up these other places because I don't understand.
So our calibration is the right calibration. And if you really study criminology and you look at the intersectionality between health and public safety, you can't use a public safety approach when people are dying on the streets. This takes time. You're talking about generational poverty. You're talking about generational discrimination.
Okay, generational poverty, generation discrimination, and y'all laws are kind of fucked up. So what makes you think it's gonna be even better? Generational discrimination. I don't believe it's generational discrimination. It's not generational discrimination. Yes, things are generational, but you gotta also have to put this in perspective. It depends on how you were raised. Generationally, like seriously, you gotta think about that. Generational poverty happens when people don't learn from other people's mistakes. Meaning kids who grow up don't learn from their parents' mistakes and are being manipulated by their parents. Generational discrimination, that I don't even think that even exists. Generational discrimination sounds like somebody's being like, you know, profiled by the same group of people on two different ends. That is a new word. That is a new line for me. That's a new line for me. I'm sorry.
And so what we're doing is what we should be doing, helping each one, getting to know them by name. That is our approach. This is tough work. And again, having some of the budget challenges we're doing, we still figured out a way to triple our investments to save lives. Our fire department is the first one to administer buprenorphine to save lives. So we're
buprenorphine? Hold on. What's that word again? Buprine. Hold on. I'm gonna look that up for a minute. I'm sorry. That's a weird name. I've never heard of that name before. Oh my God. I can't even freaking get the words out. What the fuck is that?
Fire department is the first one to administer buprenorphine to save lives. So we're setting a national model on what we should be doing in this space.
I want to give you a chance to respond.
Okay, buprenorphine is a prescription opioid. Oh shit. It's a fucking opioid. Are you kidding me? Side effects. You know one thing I'm going to tell you about men. One thing about men, such as myself, who have the similar mindset as me, why we don't take a lot of different medicines, because we know there's always side effects that exist. And from what I'm seeing, the side effects is constipation, headache, nausea, and vomiting, dizziness, drowsiness, sweating, dry mouth, difficulty sleeping. Yeah, probably why a lot of people will be fucking snapping. From what it says, it reduces cravings, prevents withdrawal symptoms, produce weaker and euphoric effect that full. You know something? I think some of these side effects actually exist. They say it reduce. You know something? I don't trust I really do not trust medicine like that. That is a weird medicine. I'm going to have a suggestion for people. Don't take that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that you can go out and with your own eyes see that what we're doing right now is not working. And part of this, the mayor mentioned that the question is, where do you send someone? Is there treatment, right? But also the question is, where do they go after treatment? Because if someone goes to treatment and then they're back out on the street, they're just going to be engaging in the same behavior. So this goes back to our homelessness crisis, and it also goes back to
She has a point, because it's definitely going to repeat like constantly over and over again. So from what I've noticed about this freaking fucking name, and I kind of heard this from somebody I know, and this is from I can't, it's not too much info, but this person is a police officer, and he told me that people commit crimes just to go back to take a fucking drug because it makes them feel good. And I think it has something to do with this particular drug itself, because it's an opioid. I don't trust this shit. People often commit crimes just to take a drug because it makes them feel good. And this is from word of mouth from a police officer. There's no fucking way. This is crazy.
Funding for the LEAD program, law enforcement assisted diversion, right? And so, when someone is arrested, if we're going to divert them into a path where they're getting housing and shelter with services, because we know that just arresting someone, booking them into jail, and putting them back out on the street doesn't work, we actually need to be funding those programs where people are getting that long-term case management and help that we need. And that just has not been a priority of this administration.
I mean, of course, I don't think it's going to be a priority in both administrations. No matter who you vote for at this point, this city is fucking, it's going to be fucking, it's going to be in a shithole. And I hope Trump comes here. I hope Trump comes here and does his job, because situation being, this is not going to be good.
Would you like to respond to that not being
Sure.
priority?
Once again, she's completely obliterating the facts. The founder of LEAD, Lisa Dugard, certainly supports my reelection. If you look at in 2022, we only invested $6.6 million. That was the budget I inherited. Under our leadership, we invested in 2025 $14.5 million, and this is the highest they've ever received. We also made sure that they were Trump-proofed in case they
Oh, bruh, Trump-proof. Trump proved. You cannot stop federal from. Let me tell y'all what people don't realize, and what he don't realize, if he doesn't realize, because he probably knows, and he's just talking. This is just talking points, because whether you like this or not, federal trumps local laws. Federal always trumps local laws. Local laws can't stop federal troops from coming in. Local laws can't stop Donald Trump from doing what he got to do to make a city better. You can try as much as you want, but there's nothing you can do. You can sue them, and guess what? I know taxpayers do not want these lawsuits to be going, because it costs us our money to sue this man, and it's not gonna work, no matter whether he likes it or not. He's stupid. Harrell, you are dumb.
They lose federal funds or some state funds. Make sure we're supporting that approach.
Bruh, we are losing federal funds because of your piss poor movements. And honestly, I don't think none of these people are gonna make it better.
So we are modeling what you have to do on the softer approach, the upstream. One of the reasons why we put the education levy on the books and why we're doing so much in pre-K and childcare is because brain development between 0 and 4 affects them when they're in the life. A lot of
No shit, Sherlock, but yet said y'all got these people pushing these fucking this pussy propaganda in these kids' minds. People's freaking brains don't fully develop to like the age 25. Like, they don't fully develop until the age of 25. Yet instead, you got this pussy propaganda being pushed in these schools. Bruh.
These folks need help. So our investment strategy is aligned with best practices to get people the treatment that they need.
I'm sorry, dude. Y'all are both bad candidates, and guess what? No matter who y'all vote for, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. The truth is, Seattle is fucked. This is not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. And guess what? Until once it gets worse, it's going to have to shift to becoming better. I don't like being negative about this stuff, but I'm just stating the facts. I'm seeing what's going on as is, and I'm trying to keep everything posted. I wish I could post more videos per day, but I got to do it at 9 to 5, and during my time that I'm off, after I get off work, I'm pretty much getting videos posted every single day as much as possible. Hopefully throughout Saturday and Sunday, I could maybe post 3 to 4. But at this point, I'm just going to keep on working and try to, talk to the people of Washington State to keep them informed and give them my honest thoughts about what's going on. But let's be honest, at this point, Seattle is in a fucking hellhole, and it's going to get nothing but worse. And hopefully I can get into the liberals' heads and the liberals' minds, because situation being, this is not even benefiting y'all at all. This is not going to benefit y'all. This is going to harm y'all. And believe it or not, y'all are not going to speak up about this unless it happens to y'all too. Y'all are so much into freaking trying to stop good from, Trump trying to fix things, that y'all just want complete chaos. It's time to make a change. And this is why I support Republicans. This is why I'm a conservative myself. This is why I've been like this for all my life. I had to realize this. Make the change. It's time to vote Republican, people. So let me know y'all thoughts. And if y'all want me to leave a description, I will down below. But I'm just going to keep a deep dive on a lot of different things that on the local level. And also on a major level, because whatever is affecting, federal, it's going to affect local as well. Especially with all these dumbass Democrats. Keep it, and I'm just going to say, y'all voted for this shit. And before I go, I just have to say this, because this bothers me. Because at the end of the day, no matter who you vote for at this point, Seattle is screwed. It is completely screwed, and more jobs are going to be lost. If they were so adamant, if they were so gung-ho, if they really, really wanted to protect the people of Seattle, if they really wanted to protect the people of Seattle, I need Washington State to listen to me. If they really wanted to protect the state of Washington, if they wanted to protect the Seattle residents, if they really wanted to protect these people, they would allow Trump to bring the National Guard here to protect our people. If they really wanted, again, if they really wanted to protect the people in Seattle, our Seattle residents, they would allow to bring the troops to Seattle. And other parts, it doesn't matter where, they will allow this. But you know what? All they're trying to get is money. All they're trying to get all they're trying to do is help make people lose their jobs. All they're trying to do is put businesses on the line. All they're trying to do is lose business at this point. Because the first thing you're supposed to focus on is crime. The lower the crime is, the better the society will grow. No matter what. If they really wanted to do this, but no, they pretty much, I'm just going to be honest, Bob Ferguson and Patty Murray got this man by the balls. Whoever else is pulling the strings in this bitch, whatever the fuck he's doing, they got him by the balls. He hasn't even freaking talked about where the fuck all this money's gone yet. And from the writing on the wall, I obviously think, have a speculation on where. It is fucked up. If y'all really want protection, and guess what? For all you liberals, y'all need to listen. For you Gen Z, the quickest way to make you vote for them is by the word free. But guess what? They're not going to ever tell you that it comes with a cost. They're not going to tell you at all. Because it's going to cost. It's going to cost. And if you really want more money in your pockets, you want to see better jobs, you want to see these jobs flourish, you want to see a better society, you want to see protection for yourself, for the women, and for the kids, it's time to flip this city red. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I'm going to just, if y'all want me to talk about more of these debates, let me know also in the comment section as well. I will leave a description down below. This is going to be a crazy, crazy next few years. And I'm just going to keep everybody posted.